Hello everyone! This is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome one and all to this newest edition of the Running on Empty Food Review series. I'm your host, The Report of the Week. Thanks for checking in. So, you ever wake up one of those days? It's early morning, your alarm just goes off, you're just opening your eyes. And the first thing that you think, the very first thought of the day that enters your mind, God, I hate pizza crusts. I wish we could live in a world where pizza crusts never existed. Oh, I know. There's a lot of us out there that think that, and Papa John's knows that too. All right. Honestly, I'm not one of those people, but I would just have to assume that there are people like that out there. And if you are one of those people, then this is right up your alley. Because Papa John's, they understand. So they have you in mind when they released their new Papa Bowls. Okay? They describe this as crustless pizza. So those crusts, forget about them. They're never going to be in your life again, provided you only eat the Papa Bowls from Papa John's from now on. They describe these as pizza toppings in a bowl, and there's 3 different types. And the one that's gotten the most interest is the Italian meat trio. So here's what it is. You've got a plastic bowl, and inside of the bowl is pepperoni, sausage, meatballs, green peppers, onions, tomato, and pizza and Alfredo sauce, along with cheese and Italian seasoning. And they say, all right, you've got it now in a bowl. So this is the revolution. This is what pizza is going to be now. No more of that pesky crust to ever worry about. Price for this is $8 for one Papa Bowl, they say. And it should note that one of these Papa Bowls has 880 calories in it. So when I was researching these, I noticed immediately that there has been an extraordinary amount of division directed toward these items online. And so far, just to tell it like it is, the reactions toward these items have been overwhelmingly negative. Now, I'm going to go into this with an open mind, and we're going to see. But that just needs to be said right off the bat. I'll tell you one thing that confuses me a little bit about this, and then we're just going to get right into it. I'll show you the product, try it out, and we're just going to honestly assess this and see if it's any good or not. The thing that confuses me is they describe this again as crustless pizza in a bowl. So obviously there's going to be no pizza crust. But the thing that I have difficulty discerning, is there any sort of base to the pizza, right? So is there still going to be dough at the bottom, or is it just the sauce and the toppings with no pizza dough involved whatsoever, no sort of bread, none of that, and it's just the toppings in a plastic feeding dish? And I have no idea. I've looked, it seems like, I don't know, some people get certain things, so that's one thing that I'm personally curious about. So anyway, I think I mentioned, price for this, $8, and it's got, again, 880 calories, and I mention that because some people are looking at this and they think, oh, maybe this is like a health-conscious item, and it doesn't seem to me like that's how it's being marketed, but again, we'll find out, and I want to find out, is there any dough or base or any of that involved at all? So we're going to find out. All right, they put it in this box right here, and inside the box, they give you cutlery, because you have to eat it with cutlery, so they give you a little plastic knife and fork, which is good, it's convenient. And then inside the box is another box. And I guess what I'll do, Just trying to think the best way to eat this. I guess I'll just eat it like this. So I'll put this off to the side. I have a plate and everything right here, but I think I'll just eat it out of the dish. And it's still really hot. This thing stays warm quite a bit. So it comes in that, and then you slide it out, and let's take a look. The Papa Bowl. It is what it is. It's a plastic dish with, from what I can discern, I don't think there's any base, but you can see the pepperoni, all the oil there, kind of pooled in that corner. You know, I don't know, look, I don't want to judge a book by its cover here, all right? But I'll preface this by saying that it might be delicious. It might be quite good. Based on what I see right in front of me, and based on what I smell, because it's very potent in terms of the scent, it doesn't smell good at all. I'll say that. It smells, it just smells bad. I'll tell you that right now. It's just not an appetizing... I would describe it more as an odor as opposed to a scent. And looking at it... Alright, fine. You know, I'm just going to get it out of my system and I'm just going to say it. Just based on what I see, I imagine this being like slop that's poured into a feeding trough, and you have like a bunch of hogs lined up, and they're all just eating it. That's just the imagery. When I look down and I see this, and the scent that this emanates as well, which, like I said, is not good, not pleasant, certainly not something that you really, that would really get your appetite worked up. I can't help but have that imagery. Either way, sure, it doesn't look that good, and it doesn't smell that good, but maybe it tastes good. So we will find out. We're just going to try it out. I'll let you know what it tastes like. Definitely need a knife and fork to consume it, so have it right here. Lately, I've been editing out the eating segments, but I think it's important to discern how easy it is to consume this, so I'm just going to keep this all in. And let's try it out. Can't judge a book by its cover, right? So let's try it out. What is this one? The Italian Meat Trio Papa Bowl from Papa John's going in. Pretending to feed you. Also, while just giving a close-up. So, here's what I can discern from it. All right, here's what I can tell so far. there is definitely not any sort of base. So at least what I got, there is no dough or any of that involved whatsoever. These are just, they took the sauce and the toppings and dumped it into a plastic bowl, and that's what it is. So you can see close up, that's what it kind of looks like as you're kind of eating it. That's the cross section. And I understand if you have some serious, let's say, health concerns, and you just can't eat any of the pizza whatsoever, and you can't have any sort of bread or dough or any of that, that's the one circumstance where I can understand that this might be one of those cases where if you look at it that way, all right, something is perhaps better than nothing. But that is the only circumstance that I could understand someone really willingly eating this. In any other circumstance, I cannot find any justifiable reason for getting this. And I am very thankful that along with this, I also ordered a pizza. Because this thing is going right in the trash after the camera goes off. It's gross. That's the only way I could really describe it. You have certain things that, let's say we break it down by component. It might taste all right, component by component. But when you blend it all together, certain things just don't really turn out the way you had hoped. And I think that's common sense stuff. It's like a lot of the ingredients in and of themselves might be all right, but then when it all just comes together, it just doesn't really work. And this is one of those cases. Now, like I said, the thing is still really fresh, really hot, but it's got this gross... Sorry, I needed a sip. It's got this gross sliminess to it. And it's like I eat it, and like I said, everything is just really slimy. You've got all this stuff at the bottom that just seems really undercooked, in my opinion. You've got the tomato sauce that's just kind of there. You've got, all right, the pepperoni. The pepperoni and the meatballs, I would say, on this are the most flavorful things. And both of them pack a little bit of a spicy punch. But aside from that, all right, I eat this. It's really slimy. It's really soggy. It's got this horribly unpleasant odor to it. You've got these undercooked vegetables essentially at the bottom that just texturally, taste-wise, it's just wrong. That's the only way I could really describe it. It's extremely, extremely salty. I would have to imagine that the sodium level in this is absolutely off the charts, which is something that should be mentioned. Obviously, if you're trying to get this as a very health-conscious choice, that's something to be aware of. And visually speaking, it's certainly not the most pleasant thing to look at in some ways, but what's most important is taste-wise. Again, if this is trying to present itself as an alternative for pizza, they missed the mark on this so widely. It's amazing, actually. If they try, and that's how they're advertising it, that this is supposed to be a crustless alternative to pizza. And this kind of just, instead, it's actually reminded me of every reason why I like pizza. That's the thing. Now, some people can try to say, oh, isn't this just like Chicago deep dish pizza? No, it's completely different. You can't even make that comparison. No, this is like, maybe it's like Chicago deep dish pizza with all the joy and fun and anything good about it that's removed, and then you have this. So maybe I could understand what they were trying to go for. Maybe they were trying to make this like some sort of like lasagna type of thing, but even that, you can't even compare it to that because that's 10 times better than this. This is just, like I said, it's just gross. It doesn't work. you have concepts and you have ideas that when someone's in the boardroom and they're kind of looking, they're thinking, all right, yeah, this might work. This sounds good. But you have the things that they might look good, they might sound good on paper, but in reality, when you look at the execution of things, it doesn't play out the way that they hoped. So I would only have to assume that this is one of those things. In the end, as you're eating this, some ingredients get totally lost in this, and the sauce is really watery too. It's like you get the moisture from everything, and you've also got this layer of water at the bottom from all of it that makes everything really soggy and really watery. It's so salty, it's insane. It smells bad. Half the vegetables in it are undercooked, and I could just go on and on. It's like you could take each ingredient from this, and in and of themselves, they might be all right, but when put into this, I feel bad for them. It takes a good thing and ruins it. So I'm not a fan of this. I think it's one of those ideas that sounds good on paper, but in reality, in practice, it just doesn't work. They missed the mark big time on this. If you would prefer something like this, just go someplace else and get a deep dish pizza, or just go to a local Italian restaurant, get some quality lasagna, and if you want to get something from Papa John's, just get a regular pizza if you can, because this just is not worth the time, it's not worth the effort, it's not worth the money. So I would say this is a hard pass. I like Papa John's, generally speaking. They've got some good pizza, but this just ain't it. It's just not there. So therefore, factoring in the price, factoring in the experience, factoring in everything, the ingredients themselves might be all right, but they did a bad thing to maybe good ingredients. So out of 10, I'm going to be giving the Papa John's Italian Meat Trio Papa Bowl. I'm just going to give this it's just going to get a 3 out of 10. It would be lower, but the ingredients are somewhat quality, so I'll factor that in. But hard pass, just get a pizza or something else. Forget about this, it's not worth it. Thank you, and that's all that I have for you. Until next time, I'm your host, the Report of the Week. Sick of these bad items, but it is what it is. On to the next we go.